Well, 42 of Andrew Safell on a Winchester. Top time tonight. 8 of Keith Reed in second spot. 7. Checkered flag coming out on the final group of warm-up drivers tonight. The number 1 is Steve Kent, the 1 seed at Woodsboro, Maryland, tops on the board. Ladies and gentlemen, while the drivers are getting set, going through their final session to get ready for their warm-ups, or should say heat races tonight, we ask you to please rise as you are able, as we will deliver our invocation to be delivered by Holly Watson, to be followed tonight by our national anthem.
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather here tonight on this beautiful evening. Please watch over all the drivers, crew, track officials, and fans. We also ask you, Lord, to bless those that protect our freedoms in this wonderful country. Grant us your peace. Hear us, Lord, for your mercy is great. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
A great way to start a beautiful evening off. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with us tonight here at the Hagerstown Speedway. Hope we have a great four-card program for you tonight.
All right, drivers, go green this time, 7:47. You can go green anytime after the stripe pole.
Out for the first UMP Modified Heat race. Jesmer from the pole grabs that early lead, but here comes Dixon. The top two drivers in our modified points tied for the number 1 spot, making their way back to the stripe for lap number 1. Going to be Jesmer by a couple of car lengths. Meanwhile, Corbin from the back of the field in the 25, diving underneath, and he does a slide move on the 35 Dia Dolan. Meanwhile, back up front, Dixon to the inside of Jesmer in the battle for the lead down in turn number 3 and 4. Hugging the bottom, now slides it up the banking. Jesmer can't take advantage as he gets up in the high stuff as well. Caution. Meanwhile, on the Speedway, spinner off of turn number 2, going to be the G5 of Harry Hendershot. 17 exit Darren Hoover and the 44 of Frank DeBella round out the field as we get set to go back to green. And indeed the green back in the air. The drag race down the front straightaway. Dixon to the bottom. Going to be Jesmer up top. They rub a little bit in turn number 1 and 2. Going to be Dixon grabbing that lead. Jesmer in his tire tracks. Here comes Corbin to the 25. He's right behind him in third spot. 17 of Darren Hoover right now holding on to fourth as they come back for the cross flags. Halfway for Dixon this time by. And once in front, Dixon opening that advantage up some 4 or 5 car lengths off that second turn. Jesmer comfortably in the number 2 spot. Corbin in the 25 third. A few car lengths back to the 17X of Darren Hoover, followed by the 35 of Dolan as they come back for the 2 to go indication. No change, single file right now. Dixon with a comfortable edge down the back straightaway. A lap and a half away from his first checkered flag of the evening in UMP Modified action. Into the shadows of turn 3 and 4 and back into the sunshine as they take the white flag back into that first and second turn. 747 of Jesmer remains in second spot. Wheel hops a little over at Groove, holds on to it. The 25 of Corbin, some 3-4 car lengths back in third. Once again, the 17X of Darren Hoover and the 35 of Dolan, the top 5. But our qualifying winner in heat race number 1 going to be the 77 of George Dixon. And his fellow points leader, the 747 of Jimmy Jesmer, ends up in second. 25 of Mike Corbin winds up third. Out in our second qualifier of the night for the UMP Mods as they head down the front straightaway. Clower and DeBella, the 20 and the 4. And it's going to be Spike Moore from the outside of row number 2 in that 8W machine, grabbing that lead. And he'll take it down the back straightaway. Clower to second. Cody Oliver, also very strong in warm-ups earlier tonight. The 55C works his way up into third. Here on lap number 1 as he begins a challenge for the number 2 spot. Further back, going to be Donnie Farling, fastest in warm-ups. He's on the inside of the 11 of Brad Kling. He'll take over the 4th position off that second turn. Meanwhile, Spike Moore looking to become the first repeat winner in modified action. He's off to a good start with a very healthy lead off that 4th turn. Coming back for lap number 2. Clower remains in second. Oliver a little high off that 4th turn, and he lost a lot of gain on traction up to the number 20. The 58 of Farling right now holding on to 4th. 11 to Kling in the number 5 spot. Everybody very evenly spaced out. Spike Moore with about a quarter of a straightaway lead, if not more. 20 of Clower comfortably in second by some 7 or 8 car lengths. 55C of Cody Oliver remains in third as they come back for the 2 to go sign this time by. 4th position, still the 58 of Farling, raising that left wheel coming off at turn number 4. Clean back there in the number 5 spot, followed by the 17 of Kirk Baker. Now Oliver now begins a challenge a little bit, closing in on that back deck lid of the 20 of Flowers. The white flag will be in the air this time by. Meanwhile, the leaders have come off at turn number 2. I should say the leader is off at turn number 2. It's going to be Cody Oliver down to the inside. He'll grab the number 2 spot. The door may be left open for Donnie Farland, and is. The 58 takes third. 20 of Flower drops to 4th, and Spike Moore drops another victory this time by as he takes the qualifying in heat race number 2 of the 8W machine. 55C of Cody Oliver comes home in second. 58 of Donnie Farling third. 20 of Travis Flower and the 11 of Brad Kling. They will be the top 5 in UMP Modified Qualifier number 2. Again, the 82 of Andy Freese and the 33K of Devin Hart on that front row. 25 of Jonathan Raley out of Hollywood, Maryland, back with us. The 5 of Brad Omsen of Winchester, Virginia. The top 4, 2 rows. Top 4 drivers get set. 10 cars, 8 laps. Here we go. Green is out. Going to be Devin Hart trying to win the battle, and he does on the high side. Off turn 2, Raley with a good run down bottom. Freese trying to slam the door shut, and right now they've got the good battle going for second. 5 of Brad Omsen, the 7 of Kenny Yoder right now. The early top 5 is Devin Hart. Brings him off at turn number 4 for lap number 1. Freese now comfortably in that number 2 spot of the 82 machine. Raley some 5 car lengths back in 3rd spot. Brad Omsen, Kenny Yoder, the early top 5. Michael Carter back in the number 6 spot. Cronies in 7th. The 44 of Sean Shoemaker with some work to do to maintain that points lead. 44 to Mount Union, Pennsylvania, trying to work from the back of the field. He's to the outside of Cronies as they work down the front straightaway. And no racing room as he remains back there in the 8th position. Top 5 evenly spaced apart as they work it back for lap number 3. The 33K of Devin Hart still in control. Raley going way high in turn 3 and 4. Slides underneath and grabs the number 3 spot. 82 of Freese not only getting away from Raley moments ago for second, now closing the gap back up on Devin Hart. The leaders come back halfway, will be on the board. Going to be Hart running the high line, and Andy Freese slowly closing down to a car length separation for the top 2 drivers in turn number 1. 5 of Brad Omsen, about a 3/4 of a turn back in 3rd position. Jonathan Raley in the 25, back in 4th. Yoder in the number 7, holding on to 5th as they come back for lap number 5. Freese still on the tire tracks of Devin Hart by 2 car lengths. 2 to go indication about to come on to the Speedway for heat race number 1. Devin Hart trying to open it back up, some 3 car length separation. Omsen, Raley, and Yoder, they're the top 5. Shoemaker with the 44 has worked his way up into 6th as we take 2 laps to go. And Shoemaker not done. The points leader pulls to the inside of Kenny Yoder, looking for at least a top 5 finish after starting back in the number 10 spot. Devin Hart brings him back into turn number 3 and 4, and the white flag will be out this time by. Freese made a run, and now Hart turns up the wick and begins to pull away just a little bit. Shoemaker and Yoder continue their battle for the number 5 spot. Looked like Shoemaker had it moments ago. Raley and Omsen likewise. They have a good challenge for the number 3 spot. Shoemaker to the inside of Yoder. He'll get 5th. Meanwhile, off turn number 4, it'll be your defending champion, Devin Hart, taking the heat race win. Andy Freese in the 82 in 2nd. Brad Omsen, Jonathan Raley, and here comes the 44. Your point leader, Sean Shoemaker. He'll round out the top 5. So a nice welcome back to Devin Hart, our defending Late Model Sportsman track champion at Port Royal, Pennsylvania. Of course, again, Pat McNeil and Andy Anderson driving the Harry Scheib 00, a car well driven by Kyle Hardy many times. So Andy's behind the wheel tonight. DeHaven the 13D, number 2 in points. Lee Ziegler in the 27, Gunnar Walls in the 85, followed by the 22 of Steinhoff, then Lear and Bonebrake. 2-time winner, the number 3 man in points, side by side in row number 4 as we get set to go. 8 laps, the qualifier as we get the green flag. And looks like DeHaven's going to swallow up McNeil quickly down to the bottom side, trying to grab that number 1 spot. Lear tried to stuff it in, almost make it 3 wide at turn number 2. He had to back off. Going to be McNeil in 2nd. Walls and Anderson side by side for the number 3 spot. The 151 of Lear there likewise. Contact between Walls and Anderson. They straighten out as they make their way back for lap number 1. It was busy. Going to be DeHaven right now with about a 5 car length advantage. Walls puts the 85 up into the number 3 spot, but caution with 1 car coming to a stop off of turn number 4. Yellow quickly out. So Steinhoff on the hook as a 22 being brought into the infield area. We have got them stacked up 2 by 2 down the back straightaway. 1 lap of 8 in this qualifier in the books right now. We get set to get back to green off turn 4. Back in the air to Haven quickly up to the gearbox as he grabs that lead back down into turn number 1 and 2. Going to be the 85 at Gunnar Walls in second spot. Very strong run early, only 1 lap in, but Gunnar's looking sharp tonight. 151 of Kyle Lear. He'll take third. It's going to be Andy Anderson challenging McNeil, that 000, as they battle for the number 4 spot. Trouble in turn number 4. Going to be Ciccarelli. The 49 may have tagged that front wall on the inside. Off at turn number 4, maybe a little bit of contact on that front end. And again, the Hagerstown Speedway portion of our 50-50 tonight is going to the family of Chucky Nolan, who was killed back on May the 19th as a result of a dirt bike accident. And of course, we're trying to help him out on behalf of Hagerstown Speedway. Any additional money you may have just to help the family out in some very trying times would be greatly appreciated. Again, our thanks to Linda for coming up with that concept, and Hagerstown Speedway for taking care of one of our own. Green flag back in the air in our second qualifier. 2 of 8 laps are in the books, and we are trading some spaces right now. DeHaven grabs a spot. Going to be Lear to the inside of Gunnar Walls. He'll get second. McNeil back in fourth. Bone break right now the top 5 with Anderson, the 000, holding on to 6th as we come back for lap number 3. DeHaven running the mid to high groove. Going to be Lear down low in the 151. 3-car length separation between those 2 drivers. Another 2 back to the 85 of Gunnar Walls. McNeil holding on to 4th. Going to be Bone Break in the 37F, cracking the top 5 as he gets around Andy Anderson moments ago. As we put halfway on the board here in qualifier number 2. DeHaven right now well in control, trying to open up that lead. The 13D running Hagerstown on a regular basis this year, looking for that championship, and more importantly right now, in the short term, looking for that first feature event victory of the 2024 season. So far, Lear and Trevor Feathers, the only drivers that have found their way to victory lane, but 30 cars in the field, the odds are good that you can find another late model sportsman winner on any given night with the level of competition. Meanwhile, 2 laps to go for DeHaven, and smoke coming from the back of that car, and that's not good. Jonathan DeHaven signs of smoke more and more, and Kyle Lear trying to reel him in and get around him as quick as he can. DeHaven to the high side. Lear closing the gap down in turn 3 and 4. Dive bomb down to the inside. Kyle Lear grabbing the number 1 spot. DeHaven pulls it up in the high groove off at turn number 4. A tough break for the driver of the 13D.
Green this time, 151, anytime after the strike of poles.
Walls really going at it off of turn number 4 on the restart, so much so that Pat McNeil able to get to the inside of Walls for the moment. Bone break trying a 3-wide move. He backs off. Lear is pulled away. It's going to be McNeil to the high side. Gunnar Walls down low, and McNeil will claim the number 2 spot. Meanwhile, Lear going to claim the victory. McNeil will be second. Walls, bone break, and Lee Ziegler, the top 5 in heat race number 2. Now, a wild series of events in that one, the 151 of Kyle Lear. Now, another talented 10-car field, and here we go. Going to be Kirshner, Atherton from the front row as the smoke is clearing, and we get set for the final 8-lap qualifier. Late model sportsman competition tonight. Green is out, and Myers almost got it turned sideways, coming off of turn number 4 further back in the field. Meanwhile, going to be Kirshner up front, grabbing the lead from Atherton. 3 wide, almost 4 wide, down the back straightaway, and didn't take Ryan Zook long in the 28Z to find his way towards the front of the field. He'll power that machine up into 3rd position. They are still jostling. 4th on back, led by Warrenfeld. 3 wide, going to be Garrett, Myers, and also the 28 of Ryan Zook. Or the 28 machine of Gerald Davis also trying to make his way up in there. Zook is a little bit further up, mind you. as he challenges Danny Atherton, closes on him in that number 2 spot. Kirshner, meanwhile, is the leader here at lap number 2. So it's going to be Atherton in second, some 7-8 car lengths back, 2 better than Ryan Zook. Then a gap back to DJ Myers, holding on to fourth. The 11 of Austin Warrenfeldts right now in that top 5. 28 of Gerald Davis. He'll bring up the next group of 5. He's 6th on the field, followed by the 81 of Garrett, then the 56. Modified driver Dixon. Atherton almost spins it. Myers tags him in the rear. He'll try to gather it up, but he hits the wall. And once he does, the 11 of Austin Warrenfeldts grabs another spot. He'll go fourth. Myers rebounds for 5th. And we come back for halfway. All the while, Cody Kirshner and Ryan Zook have checked out. Still about a 10-15 car length advantage between first and second. Danny Atherton third. Going to be Warrenfeldts in fourth. Myers trying to rebound. He'll boldly put it down there to the inside of turn 3 and 4 and reclaim the number 4 position. Same grooves taken by both drivers in the top 2. Going to be Kirshner by about 10 car lengths. Zook in second. Atherton, now Myers, and holding on to 5th is Austin Warrenfeldts. 2 laps to go this time, and Kirshner slips up in turn 4. Here comes Ryan Zook to the outside. Now he'll dive bomb to the bottom side, to that low side. Off of turn number 2 provides great momentum, and it provides a new leader, the 28Z of Ryan Zook, claiming the number 1 spot down in turn 3 and 4. Kirshner dropping back into second. White flag in the air this time by. Atherton remains a distant third. He's got a couple of car lengths on the 70J of DJ Myers, who is still trying to be in the hunt for that spot. The 11 of Austin Warrenfeldt's top 5. As we watch the battle for third, we're also looking at the leader is Ryan Zook. He was once a points leader, missed one race, but he is good. Comes back to take the third Late Model Sportsman qualifier. 2+2 of Cody Kirshner winds up in second spot. Myers in the 70J clips around the 19 of Danny Atherton. He'll claim third with the 11 of Austin Warrenfeldts in the top 5. The 3 drivers have already scored victories. Keith Reed, who we'll see in heat race number 2 in that 8 machine. The defending champions got 2 wins. Evan Faust, Randy Lindenberg. They have got 1 apiece, but some very stout pure stock drivers still looking for that first victory. Green flag is out in qualifier number 1. And Bosley in that 17 having some trouble from the pole position, and that shuffles the field quickly as Andrew Seffel brings the 42 down to the inside, grabs a lead from the 45 of Lincoln Sutphin. 13 is Sam Hoffman will be third. Here comes the 62 of Dylan Beavers, well back in the field. Started 10th on lap number 1. He's going to be fourth. And maybe 5th as the 03 of Danny Walters powers by on the outside of the Beavers machine. Top 2 are about 2 car lengths apart. They have a little bit of a gap over the 13 of Hoffman. Then he's got the Hornets Nest behind him. Beavers in fourth. Going to be Neff in the 03 and making Walters in the top 5 as they come back for lap number 2. 64 of Crook. He brings up that second group of drivers in 6th position. Ecton in the 57 missing his warm-ups. Now he's back in. Holding on to 7th, followed by the 80 to Fogelback at 8th, and they are single file from 3rd on back. Single file and jammed up, and meanwhile the 42 of Seffel enjoying a little bit of a lead as he'll come back for the 2 to go signal this time. And qualifier number 1 and a good lead over the 45 of Lincoln Sutphin. 3rd place is where it is, and right now 13 of Hoffman holds on to it. Going to be the 83 of Walters and the 62 of Beaver still side by side. 57 of Ecton back there in 6th. White flag in the air. Seffel has always done so well when it comes to warm-up speeds, when it comes to heat races, just trying to finish it and close the door and see if he can pick up that first pure stock win of the season right now with about a turn advantage as he heads off at turn number 2. Sutphin in the 45, still in second. Hoffman in the 13 third. Side-by-side battle between Walters and Beavers dissipates a little bit down the back straightaway as Walters now gets the number 4 spot, but it's Andrew Seffel by a half a straightaway, taking the pure stock win in qualifier number 1. 45 of Lincoln Sutphin will wind up in second. 13 is Sam Hoffman holding on to third. 03 of Danny Walters and the 62 of Dylan Beavers. They will round out the top 5. stretch pits. We get the green flag, and we go one car less. 9 machines power off into turn number 1 and 2, and Reed and Faust make contact. That opens the door. Faust able to hold on and grab the lead. Tyler Fisher in the 32-second, but here comes Reed. And that number 8 machine screaming on the outside. Spielman and Yonker, they're right there as well. Very tight 2nd through 5th as they come back to complete lap number 1. Again, semi-lates for heat race number 1. You can go to the staging area. Semi-lates heat race number 1 to the staging area, please. So Faust will hold the lead, and Reed spins it by his lonesome off turn number 2 and down to the inside of that 2nd turn up against the wall. 2 by 2, Faust to the inside. Fisher in the 32 on the outside. Spielman and Yonkers, the 11A and the 31. Back in row 2, 22 of Robert Thompson, the 8R of Blake Reed, and then the 8 of Keith Reed right behind him with the 67 of Bill Ecton Sr. Rounding out the order with 4 laps to go here in our 2nd qualifier. It'll be Faust to the bottom side, trying to grab that lead, but now Fisher crossover move, and on the bottom, they'll have the drag race down the back straightaway. Yonker has moved up into 3rd, Spielman 4th, Thompson 5th. Keith Reed has plucked off a couple of drivers, meaning Blake Reed and Bill Ecton Sr. as they come back for lap number 2. And it'll be Faust winning that drag race over Fisher, holding on to the number 1 spot. Reed almost spun it again. He had to tap the brakes as he almost ran the back of the 11A of Spielman on the high side of turn number 2. He's trying to split the difference between he and Thompson. He'll do it and get himself back up into 4th position. Swing it wide with all that momentum he was carrying into turn number 3. But when he comes off of that 4th turn, he'll power by Spielman and Thompson to move back up into 4th. Meanwhile, 78 of Evan Faust took the 2 to go. That line by. It's going to be a 2-car length advantage over the 32 of Tyler Fisher. Another 2 back to Yonker, and about 10 back to Reed, Spielman, and Thompson as the white flag comes out this time. Final circuit for Evan Faust, the Knoxville, Maryland driver, starting on the pole, had to earn it around Keith Reed and then win a battle with Tyler Fisher on a restart. He's opened up a good advantage back in turn number 3 and 4. It's Fisher and Yonker. They're running almost side by side for the number 2 spot. Evan Faust coming back meanwhile to take the 2nd pure stock qualifier. Fisher, Yonker, Reed, and Thompson. They will be the top 5 and our 2nd 5-lap pure stock qualifier tonight. So Evan Faust trying to...
Green flag this time, drivers. 88C, anytime after the stripe to poles in 3 and 4.
Last year, the 88Z of Isaiah Miller was a rookie, and he had some great runs. He's looking to eliminate that sophomore jinx and see if he can have himself a good run tonight. He, along with the 65 Dylan Wilson out of Cassville, Pennsylvania. 2 very stout competitors getting set off of that 4th turn. And not quite the start we wanted, so they'll roll on by, but the caution lights will come back out.
All right, drivers, let's try that again. 88C, anytime after the stripe poles. Do not go before. We're going to try it again now.
All right, field stacked back up. Here we go off turn number 4. Much better this time by. Going to be Wilson gaining that momentum and that edge over Miller as they go off into turn number 1 and 2. He'll have a little bit of high side momentum. Miller now digging down to the bottom side. Not quite clear is Dylan Wilson. Here comes Miller trying to pull up to that left rear quarter panel. 83 at Kearns right behind him at the number 3 spot. Then Kent and Nichols side by side for 4th as it's going to be Wilson leading lap number 1. Miller will go into 2nd. Kearns to the 83 3rd. Nichols to the inside. The 1C of Steve Kent. Now here comes the 03 of Brady Neff trying to take advantage as well. Crossover move by Kent off turn number 2. He'll go to the inside of Nichols and grab that 4th position. Meanwhile, Miller keeping the pressure on the 65 of Wilson coming back to the stripe for lap number 2. Couple of car lengths advantage for Wilson. Another two back to Kearns in the 83. And a pair of Virginia drivers going to be Kent, or I should say Maryland and Virginia drivers, Kent and Nichols side by side for the number 4 spot. Kent trying to use that middle to high groove momentum, and he will get it off of turn number 4. Around Nichols he goes. Nichols goes to 5th, going to be Neff in 6th, and the number 1 to Deacon Schneider, rounding out the drivers in that front pack of cars. Lap number 4 about to be recorded. That means white flag time for our first semi-late heat event. Wilson, the 65 in control. Miller, Kearns, Kent, and Nichols cross the stripe. Wilson's had some very strong runs as well. Another one of the many drivers in semi-late competition. Still looking for that first victory of the 2024 season. Right now, setting himself up in good shape here in the early going tonight. Dylan Wilson, the 65, claiming the first semi-late heat race win. Isaiah Miller, Bryan Kearns, Steve Kent, and Rob Nichols will be the top 5 and our first qualifier for the night. Ready to go against Stoner and Wilkins on the front row. Two very strong competitors. Wilkins winning the Jason, or I should say the Eric Johnson Tribute. That will take place again later on this year. It will be the final time we'll have the Eric Johnson Tribute race. As the family has enjoyed all the time we have taken to take care of that event here at the Hagerstown Speedway, and would like to put a good cap on it in 2024. In the meantime, green flag in the air. Going to be Stoner grabbing that lead. Wilkins in second. Walter Crouch, the one-time winner, in third. McQuay in the 3D. He's on the bottom side of Cody Seitz as they have a good side-by-side battle for the number 4 spot. Lap number 1 of 5 in the books, and Stoner in control by about 5 car lengths. Going to be Wilkins by about 3 over Crouch. Another 3 back to the Seitz machine. And the 3D of McQuay rounding out the early top 5 as we come back for lap number 2. Lap number 3, which means 2 laps to go in a few moments, and Stoner again in control. The driver that won so many races last year. We mentioned the 81 of Jason Giesemann took the championship because Stoner did miss one night of racing. He had a multitude of wins last year, and right now he is back loaded for bear, looking to see if he can pick up yet another victory here in the early part of the 2024 season. He, along with Walter Crouch, the only semi-late winner so far this year. And right now he's stretching that lead out as he'll close in on the 25 of Jeremy Mills, a slower car off turn number 4. 9 of Wilkins. About a quarter of a straightaway back in the number 2 spot. Another 10 back to the 92 of Walter Crouch, and Seitz in the 88K. As Stoner clears off at turn number 2 down the back straightaway, and we'll see the checkered flag when he comes back to the stripe. Off of turn 4, our final qualifying winner tonight, the 21 of Jason Stoner takes the second semi-late event. The 9 of Jason Wilkins, 92 of Walter Crouch, 88K of Cody Seitz, and the 3D of Shane McQuay. They'll be the top 5 in our final qualifier of the evening. So that will wrap our qualifying up tonight here at the Hagerstown Speedway. Hagerstown Speedway pace truck making the hard left into the backstretch pits. Corbin and Kling will lead us to the green flag. The first of 4 feature events tonight. 20 for the Modifieds, 20 coming up for Late Model Sportsmen, and 15 apiece for pure stocks and semi-lates. Well, we start with the open wheel warriors as they get set off turn number 3 and 4. Green flag about to go in the air for our 3rd UMP Modified race of the season. Leaders down into turn number 1 and 2, and Corbin trying to grab that lead. 3 wide, back for the number 3 spot. Jesmer, the 747 has it, and Dixon carving through the field. Here comes Spike Moore likewise. They are making their run to the front. Going to be Corbin in the 25. He'll hold the lead as Sparling's 58 climbs the banking. He'll gather it back in. We come back to lap number 1 of 20. Corbin the leader, Kling in second. Jesmer finds some momentum on the high side. Digs in and grabs a number 2 spot. Moore and Dixon side by side for the number 4 position. one-time winner and the co-point leader, fighting hard back in the outside or back into that top 5. All the while, Corbin back to the lead. Going to be Dixon now. He'll take the high side on Brad Kling this time by, and using that high side momentum, vaults into third. Moore struggling with Kling down to the bottom side, loses a lot of momentum. Kling will hold on to fourth. It's going to be Moore trying to rebound back in fifth. Top 3 now begin to tighten up here as we go late lap number 3. Corbin, Jesmer, and Dixon. And Jesmer feels that 77 coming, and he takes top shelf this time. To the outside, Mike Corbin grabs the lead, midpoint down the back straightaway. Moore, meanwhile, rebounds, and he has gotten right up to the inside of Kling. He'll take the number 4 spot. Dixon to the outside of Corbin. He'll take second. And the top 2 in our series points right now in those first and second spots. Jesmer, a couple of car lengths over Dixon. Another 3 back to Corbin. Moore pedaling hard, trying to catch those top 3 machines. As Dixon now puts the pressure on Jesmer and washes up a little bit off turn number 4. And he'll lose a few car lengths as we put 5 of 20 on the board early. Well, Jesmer knows he's got to run an absolutely flawless race. Dixon, the 77, he picked up a victory last year in modified competition, doing the double dip again tonight. He'll jump in a late model sportsman car as soon as he's done with this and be right back out for their 20-lap main event. And caution, meanwhile, on the speedway here early, one driver down low. That's going to be the G5, Harry Hendershot. He spun in the heat race off of that turn and now sits down to the bottom side here with 6 laps complete. So again, Dixon still looking for that first win of the season. Somebody's got to give, and Jesmer right now also likewise looking for his first win in the 747. Corbin and Moore right behind him. Ian stacking up, and a good restart down bottom for Jesmer as he'll bring him back to the stripe and head him off into turn number 1 and 2, right up to the high side. Dixon washes up a little bit. He and Jesmer had a little contact, and that allowed Corbin and Moore to both get around Dixon. A dogfight for the number 2 spot. Corbin had lost a couple of positions, and now he's trying to get it back. Moore in the 8W started 4th, and he's back to the stripe. He's cut that in half. He's in 2nd spot. Last time he was here picking up a modified win, he had won the night before at Bedford. And once again, he's trying to do the double dip again this weekend as Brad Kling, the outside pole sitter in the 11 machine, limping down into turn number 1 and 2, looks to see if he can make that hard left-hand turn into the pit area. And will indeed as we come back for lap number 8. Going to be Jesmer still in control. He's got a couple of car lengths on Moore. Then it's going to be Dixon with the crossover move on Corbin. He'll move back up into 3rd. 55C of Cody Oliver right now, holding on to the number 5 spot. Leaders back for lap number 9 as we have put a quick 10 almost on the board here in UMP Modified action tonight at Hagerstown. Late Model Sportsman's for your main event. You can make your way to the staging area. Late Model Sportsman's for your main event. You can head to the staging area. Everybody's single file throughout this entire field right now as Jesmer looks to make the last 10 better than the first 10. He'll take the cross flags for halfway here in tonight's UMP Modified Feature. Moore in the 8W. Trying a different line, goes in a little lower, and grits great momentum coming off of turn number 2, closes to within 2 car lengths down the back straightaway. Dixon, another 5 back. Then Corbin and Oliver. Top 3 begin to tighten up for lap number 11. Moore and Oliver making Corbin and Oliver having their own private battle back there for the number 4 position. Corbin has it. It's going to be Oliver down to the inside, and Corbin bobbles a little bit off turn number 2. That gives Oliver the number 4 position off turn number 4. Meanwhile, it's Jesmer back for lap number 12. Running a good line. 3 car lengths advantage over Spike Moore. Another 3 back to George Dixon. Now Dixon getting antsy, wants to get back up in there. Challenging Moore to the inside. Couldn't make it happen. And falls back in line, midpoint down the back straightaway. Jesmer would love to see those two go at it and have him have the opportunity to ease away a little bit. Going to be Dixon to the outside this time of Spike Moore. And he'll grab the number 2 position down into turn number 1. So back to the top 2 drivers, the co-leaders in the points, and the only the one-time winner. And caution back out for the 35. A lot of smoke coming from the 35D of Ryan Dolan as he limps down the front straightaway.
Drivers will go green flag this time, 747, strike the poles.
Nothing is perfect right now. You see the smoke coming from the Jesmer machine, and the 77 of George Dixon likewise with his own issues. Let's see what happens on the latest restart. Jesmer gets a good start off turn 4, and we're back to green, 13 in the books. And you can see him lighten up those brakes on that 747 as he pulled off into turn number 1 and 2. Spike Moore in the 8W back in front of Dixon. Cody Oliver right now is in the number 3 spot, make it 4th with Kirk Baker in the 17 rounding out the top 5. Field coming back for lap number 14. The side-by-side battle continues between Moore and Dixon. And Jesmer, knowing he may have his own issues mechanically or possibly with his brakes, he's trying to pull away and have them battle amongst themselves. Only a couple of car length separation between those two. As the G5, a Harry Hendershot, limping off into the pit area, leaders back for 5 laps to go. Dixon reassumes that number 2 spot in the front straightaway. Moore digs hard down to the inside and reclaims it off at turn number 2. That bottom side momentum again working, and those two drivers converging on the 747 of Jimmy Jesmer. He can't break away from them, but the laps are winding down with 16 in the books this time by. You can see those brakes on that left side just lighting up as he goes off into turn number 1 and 2. Moore gets the good run down the back straightaway. Not close enough to make the bid, but pull right even, and then a surge in turn 3 and 4. Spike Moore grabs the number 1 spot. Jesmer has to lift a little bit, and Moore is the new leader off turn number 4 at lap 17. Climb in the banking. Now Jesmer trying to find some momentum. Dixon's right there likewise in third. As the 747 now drops back a little bit. Dixon now challenges him to the inside, and Moore begins to open up a little bit of a lead. 2 laps to go here in the UMP Mods. Dixon and Jesmer side by side for the number 2 spot. And they remain that way off of turn number 2. As Jesmer had the high side momentum, Dixon trying to dig down low, and they remain in a dogfight as they battle for the championship, and they battle for the number 2 spot. Dixon a little out of shape, and Jesmer regains the number 2 position. Little contact between the two, but all this is allowing Spike Moore in the 8W just to edge away on the final lap. Jesmer now 2 car lengths better than Dixon. Cody Oliver is in that top 4, but Spike Moore now coming back to check in for his 2nd victory of the season here at Hagerstown in UMP Modified competition. Jimmy Jesmer, George Dixon, Cody Oliver, they are the top 4 as the 17X and Darren Hoover rounds out the top 5. You can see a little bit of fluid and also a little bit of steam rolling from that car, but he has poured it on tonight. There he is, folks. Spike Moore exits for his 2nd UMP Modified victory of the 2024 season here at the Hagerstown Speedway. Wow. I see a left front that looked like it didn't have a whole lot of life left in it, but boy, was that a whale of a race between you, Jesmer, and Dixon tonight.
Yeah, just kept swapping back and forth there with Dixon. I honestly thought he was a little bit better than I was there, and just kind of found the bottom down here in 1 and 2, and started working out a little bit. And I closed up on Jimmy and got just enough run on him to get a run down the backstretch and sliding there. Pretty fun race.
Well, you even stuck at me because when you and Jesmer came off at turn number 2, you had the good run, but it looked like Jimmy was going to beat you at turn number 3, and all of a sudden you found something down bottom. What a heck of a surge into 3 and 4.
Yeah, I just sent it in there, and I seen that I had a good bit of speed more going into the turn there, so that's why I let her slide up then. I didn't want to didn't want to hit him or anything, but yeah, that's fun when you can do it.
You know, it's another weekend where you win at Bedford on Friday night, you come to Hagerstown, you pick up another one. It's been a great season so far between the two racetracks for you.
Yeah, for sure. We ran Pittsburgh Motor Speedway Thursday there, got second there, so it's been a pretty good weekend.
Who would you like to thank, Spike?
Just got to thank my crew, Tyler, Matt, my dad, my wife, my mom. Those guys usually travel with me every week. All my sponsors, there's so many of them, I'm not even going to go there today. We got them last night. I appreciate all their help. They all know that. Yeah, I just got to thank Nick Hoffman for helping me out with the car, and Jerevitz for helping me with shocks. That's about it.
Well, I see the left front going down a little bit, but how much do you use it when you're rolling off them turns? Sometimes you're raising that off that left front anyway, coming off the turns. How much of a hindrance would that have been to you with a few laps left to go if it got any work?
Probably not much. Getting into the corner maybe a little bit, but once you're on the throttle, they really don't do much anyway, so we would have probably been all right.
Well, your second victory out of 3 this year. You were in the middle of a hornet's nest between two drivers that were tied for the points lead. What a great battle. Thank you for a great performance tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, folks. Spike Moore, again, your winner tonight in UMP Modified action. Check it in for his second of the year. Now 30 drivers signed into Hagerstown Speedway. And unfortunately, the mechanical woes of Jonathan DeHaven, the only driver that's unable to make a tough break for that driver high up in the series points. Again tonight, DJ Myers, Brad Umps. Two drivers that have a lot of racing history, not against each other, but just in general in racing. These are two of the very best. They lead a very star-studded field of late model sportsmen off turn 4. 20 laps tonight here at Hagerstown. And already the 48 of Steve Lowry hits the pits. Myers grabs that lead. Going to be Gunnar Walls looking to the inside of Brad Umps for the number 2 spot. Andy Freese back and forth. McNeil holding on to 5th. Raley in the 25. He's on the high side. Here comes Ryan Zook carving through the field in the 28Z. One with the 37S of Wesley Bonebrake. So Myers by 5 car lengths. Then Walls, Umps, Mercersburg's Andy Freese. McNeil's right there. Hal Zook didn't hit the wall down the back straightaway. He was right up against it to the outside of McNeil. Rim riding off turn number 4. Zook trying to get that number 5 spot. Bonebrake and Raley right behind him. Meanwhile, the front 4 trying to check out. And now here comes Raley to the inside of McNeil. Down to the bottom side. Going to be 19 of Danny Atherton. He and Wesley Bonebrake. These are all drivers from 6th on back, but we got trouble in turn 1 and 2. Cars high and low. 94, Brandon Bard has already gotten away. It looks like the 34D of Curtis Dunn had some issues as he's pulled away from the incident. One other driver still sitting there. All right, field stacked up. Myers in the 70J, 85 of Gunnar Walls. They'll lead us back to the green. 5 of Brad Umps right there in the number 3 spot. 82 of Andy Freese on the outside. Look out for the 28Z of Ryan Zook. He's been on the move, chopping half of his deficit. 5 cars have already been passed after he started in 10th spot. 00, Andy Anderson, or making the 000, Pat McNeil to his outside. Green flag back in the air. It'll be Myers grabbing that lead once again as Walls of the 85 in second. Andy Freese in third. Brad Umps, and here comes Ryan Zook right on that rear deck lid of the number 5. Look down low. Now he goes back to his top shelf move off at turn number 3 and 4 as Myers brings him back to the straight. No change in that top 5 as they come back. 151 of Kyle Lear leads that second charge of 5 cars. Raley back there in the number 7 spot. He's got challenges by Bonebrake and a spinner off of turn number 4, and one driver just missed him. 56 of George Dixon. Lights around midpoint down the back straightaway. As we get set to go back to green flag action, Myers and Walls leading us from the front row. 3 down, 17 to go here in tonight's Late Model Sportsman Feature event. Gunnar Walls trying to make something happen up top. It's going to be DJ Myers using that low side. Turn 2 momentum to hold that lead. Top 3 led by Myers, Walls, and Freese pull away. Here comes Lear now. He'll take a page out of Zook's book. He'll go top shelf this time and try to get to the outside. Going to be Brad Thompson, the number 4 spot. Ryan Zook in 5th, but not for long, as Lear is still trying to make something work on that high side. Got some good momentum. Meanwhile, further up front, Andy Freese to the inside of Gunnar Walls, gunning for that number 2 spot. Side by side, Brad Arms down to the inside. He'll take over 4th. Ryan Zook and Kyle Lear side by side. Ben Rayleigh, Devin Hart, Danny Allard, and Sean Shoemaker. They are the top 10. Shuffling the deck from 3rd on back. As Walls holds on, Arms a little out of shape, lost some momentum. Zook and Lear remain side by side as we got a creeper down the front straightaway. The 94 of Brandon Barr, he quickly dives down to the bottom side as the leaders come by for lap number 6. Myers with a good lead. Freese climbing the banking, and Zook now gets around Walls, who has trouble. The 85 of Walls in trouble, limping down the back straightaway, and he jams up the field. Everybody going high, low, in trouble. One car flipping violently down the back straightaway. Nobody,
red
not
flag,
everybody could get around the Gunnar Walls machine. Everybody was going high and low, and one car just couldn't make it and got airborne. And we are red flag here at lap 7. Bryan Benton was a driver that did make contact with the backside of Gunnar Walls. That is a driver they're checking on. The 7 of Kenny Yoder, the other driver that's down there. Likewise, once again, just keep them in your prayers right now as our safety crew gets over there and checks our driver out. We'll let you know as soon as we do have an update for you. All right, fans, we do have an update on the back straightaway. The 85 at Gunnar Walls, we understand that he was a car that obviously was clipped if you happen to be looking in that direction. He's being checked out in the unit. The driver that just flipped violently by virtue of the contact, Bryan Benton, he is okay. Driver is okay on the back straightaway. Fans, it's one thing to tell you that the driver was okay when you didn't even see the car. Now that you see the car, let's get another round of applause for this driver that is okay. That is a tremendous wreck, and Bryan Benton survived that. Thank God. All right, caution lights are out as we get set to get back to green. Myers and Freese on the front row. 6 laps of our 20-lap Late Model Sportsman main event in the books. Ryan Zook and Kyle Lear back in row number 2. Devin Hart and Danny Alberton as we get set to resume tonight's Late Model Sportsman main event. Myers will lead him down to the low side. Off at turn number 2. Zook quickly underneath of Freese and moving up into the number 2 spot. Freese, Lear, and now Sean Shoemaker getting around Devin Hart. Shoemaker's on the roll. He's trying to do what Spike Moore did, win the modified race at Bedford and come to Hagerstown. He wants to do the same in Late Model Sportsman's. Right now he's moved himself up into the number 4 spot. Make it 3rd to the inside of Andy Freese off turn number 2. Devin Hart rounding out the top 5 as the 56 of George Dixon heads off to the pit area. 8 laps complete here in tonight's Late Model Sportsman main event. Myers by 3 car lengths over Ryan Zook. Another 4 back to Sean Shoemaker. Top 5 is Devin Hart and Andy Freese. And And Hart and Freeze remain side by side down the back straightaway. Hart to the high side, trying to gain that position. Kyle Lear, Austin Warrenfeldts, Jonathan Rayleigh, Cody Kirshner, and Danny Amerman. Right now they make up the top 10. Wesley Bonebreak in the 37S also trying to get himself back up in the top 10. He now they're going to have that battle going on. Meanwhile, up front, 5-car length separation. We put cross flags up at tonight's Late Model Sportsman main event halfway for DJ Myers. Ryan Zook, Sean Shoemaker, Andy Freese, and Devin Hart. They are your top 5. At the moment, everybody's single file. The challenge right now continues back and forth as Hart tries to find a way to get around the 82 machine. The 151 of Kyle Lear back in 6th. Warrenfeldt still in 7th. Jonathan Rayleigh in 8th. Cody Kirshner 9th. And Danny Atherton rounding out the top 10 as we begin the second half of tonight's 20-lap main event. Top 3 have edged away. Devin Hart to run off at turn number 2, right to the rear deck lid of Andy Freese. He's trying to be on the attack, and now he might have to be on the defense because here comes Kyle Lear behind him. And once again, Hart kicks it to the outside, but can't find a way to get around that Mercersburg, Pennsylvania driver. The 82 of Andy Freese having a good run up in that number 4 spot. DJ Myers, meanwhile, has about a 10-car length advantage. Ryan Zook is second, but Sean Shoemaker, he's been on the move as he closes up to within a car length back there in 3rd. Freese in 4th, Devin Hart right on his rear deck lid in 5th. Kyle Lear a very tight 6th position. The leaders make their way back off of turn 4, lap 14 on the board this time by. DJ Myers still in control. That lead shrinking just a little bit with Ryan Zook and Sean Shoemaker in pursuit. Andy Freese with a little bit of breathing room, not much on Devin Hart. And now they've exercised a little bit of muscle over Kyle Lear by about 5 car lengths. Austin Warrenfeldt's in the 11, trying to play catch up back there in the 7th position. Right now he's having himself a good run tonight. Cody Kirshner still holding on to the 8th position as the leaders come back to the stripe. 9th on the track going to be the 19 of Warrenfeldt, so making Danny Atherton with the 25 of Rayleigh, rounding out the top 5. Side by side, the battle for the number 4 spot. Hart to the inside of Andy Freese, down in turn number 3. 5 laps to go that time by. Leaders working down the back straightaway. DJ Myers, his lead was shrinking, and now it begins to open up as he hits the back markers in the field, which usually would be the exact opposite. Coming back for 3 circuits to go, trying to get around the 5.56 of Eric Cronies. And he will negotiate that. Zook and Shoemaker only a couple of car lengths back in the number 2 and 3 spots. Leaders down the back straightaway. They'll be looking at 2 to go when they come back to the stripe this time by. Myers back to the stripe. Give him 5. Better than Ryan Zook. Another 5. Back to Sean Shoemaker. And the 49 of Ray Ciccarelli could be the next car in line for the leader, DJ Myers, to have to negotiate down the back straightaway. Right now a comfortable lead in turn 3 and 4 as he comes back. White flag in the air for the Greencastle, Pennsylvania driver, DJ Myers. Starting back at lap number 6 of tonight's Late Model Sportsman main event, it has been all green flag racing, and it's all DJ Myers down the back straightaway. The driver that started on the pole has had to fend off the efforts of Ryan Zook and Sean Shoemaker. It's DJ Myers taking tonight's Late Model Sportsman main event. Zook in second. Shoemaker, great run for the driver. The 44 started on the inside of row number 7, the point leader. Comes home in 3rd in tonight's Late Model Sportsman main event. Andy Freese, a great run in 4th, and your defending champion, Devin Hart, rounding out the top 5. I'd say a very popular victory for a driver that's long overdue for one here at the Hagerstown Speedway. He's been here on a few different occasions this year, and just misfortunes have struck one time after another. It never hurts to start from the pole, but he had some heavyweights behind him that he had to deal with all night long, including Ryan Zook and your point leader, Sean Shoemaker. But he came away with his first Late Model Sportsman victory of the 2024 season, joining Trevor Feathers and Kyle Lear in victory lane as winners in Late Model Sportsman competition. There he is, let him hear it, DJ Myers, your Late Model Sportsman winner tonight here at Hagerstown. DJ, absolutely great performance. As we mentioned, it never hurts to start from the pole position, but when you got 28 tonight, 28 very hungry bears trying to come after you, and you have a few restarts with cautions, it's never easy.
No, it's not. People can knock on the limited class all they want. Them boys, they race just as hard as the supers. It's actually tougher to me. You don't have the motor. You got to have your car right. I have respect for all of them guys. They're hell of racers, and they race just as hard as we do.
It's so great to see you here this year, and I know that it hasn't been the start of the season that you've wanted, because there's been a few different occasions where you came out of the box in warm-ups and heat races, everything was looking good, or something leading up to the feature event always seemed to knock you down. You've had the gremlins, but it looked like you extinguished those tonight.
Yeah, I joked this today. We've been here 3 times and made 6 laps. I said, I just want to finish the race season. We got a good car. I can't thank Ron Fry, Colby Fry, Hershey's Racing's engines, GCC Concrete, Hammer Down Customs, the Chaparral Tavern, Blackjack Ignitions. This year we set a goal on trying to get a little bit of help, and we got some good partners along the way. I want to thank my dad and Bob. They built the motor with Joey back at Curtis and stuff. He wanted to go that way. My wife Nicole, Ty, Brad, Ronnie, the whole crew, and the old fart that always helps me since I started. Bob, he's not here this evening, so this one's for him since he couldn't be here.
Well, a well-earned victory tonight, DJ. There's a lot of people that have waited to see you in victory lane. Great job tonight, and I hope to see you back here very soon.
I hope so too. I just thought to myself, pulling out on the front stretch, it's been a long time since I did that.
Well, you did it tonight, and it might not be the last one. Let's hope not. Congratulations. Enjoy this one.
All right, thank you.
All right, DJ Myers, your winner in Late Model Sportsman action tonight.
All right, 15 laps, guys. We're going to go green this time. 03, you are the pace setter. You can go green after the stripe poles in 3 and 4. 15 laps.
Well, the driver's starting up in front of him. We get set to go here in a few moments for our pure stock. Not a good start this time. Caution out as we'll try to see if we can get a better original start here in a few moments.
I didn't like that start. 03, anytime after the striped poles. Oh, 03, calm down. Let's try this again. 03, anytime after the striped poles. Go at the poles or after. Don't go before.
And number 2 in our pure stocks, a little bit better. Andrew Safell on the 03 of Denny Walters up on that front row. Safell winning that drag race down in turn number 1 and 2, trying to hold on to it. Hoffman in that 13 machine right behind him. Safell grabs the lead. Walters, Hoffman. And now a near 3-wide battle. Evan Faust down to the inside of Lincoln Sutton with Tyler Fisher on the high side of that battle. It's going to be Safell leading lap number 1 here in tonight's pure stock main event. Danny Walters in the 03, starting down low, climbing the banking. That opens the door for Hoppins. Put his 13 beside him, and he gets together with Walters. Those two get out of shape, gather it back in. Now looks like Walters got a flat tire on the left front. He's limping down the back straightaway. Everybody going high and low. Hoffman, the 13, also has trouble. May also be a flat on him as well. As those two drivers exit off at turn number 2, looks like Walters is going to make it into the pits. Hoffman has a right flat rear tire on the 13 machine. All the while, Andrew Safell's checked out to about a half a straightaway lead. Fouls to the 78, getting around the 45 of Lincoln Sutphin. That would be for second. Keith Reed on the charge likewise. He is side by side with the 32 of Tyler Fisher. That's back for the number 4 spot. 22, Robert Thompson. He is also in as Hoffman parks the 13 with that flat tire. 17 to Jeff Bosley also in, and several cars getting together in turn 1 and 2. Stacking up double wide. Andrew Safell in the 42, the 78 of Evan Fowles. Keith Reed in the number 8, and then the 32, well, Tyler Fisher is out, so that brings up, looks like 31 of Nathaniel Yonker will be on the outside of that second row. William Ecton Jr. and the 11A of James Spielman back in row number 3, as 3 of our 15 are complete. Andrew Safell creeping down into turn number 3 and 4, and he got a smoker in the back of the field. That looks to be the 45 of Lincoln Sutphin, who was just involved in that caution. A lot of smoke, and now he is off the pace off at turn number 2, may be able to limp it into the backstretch pits. Leaders, meanwhile, in 3 and 4, going to be Safell leading them back to the stripe for lap number 4. Keith Reed up the second, Evan Fowles, Nathaniel Yonker, William Ecton Jr. They are the early top 5. Sutphin able to get off into the pits. We stay green flag racing, and it is a jumble pretty much from 6th on back. Third of the way through tonight's feature. Keith Reed got around Evan Fowles, but these have been 2 of the heavyweights in the pure stock class. The only 2 winners so far this year that are here tonight. And Fowles putting the pressure on Reed. Powers down to the inside in turn 3 and 4 and reassumes that number 2 position. That gives Safell a little bit more breathing room here in lap number 6. Reed now back into 3rd. Yonker in the 31 holding on to 4th position. Top 5, the 57 of Bill Ecton Jr. He's had some very solid runs early this year. 11A of James Spielman back there in the 6th position. Side by side, David Thompson on Bill Ecton Sr. Followed by Tyler Fisher, and then the 88 of Dick Vogel for the top 10 as they come back for lap number 7. Fowles got that second spot, wrestled it away from Keith Reed a lap ago, and now is just turned away from him by about 5 car lengths, closing in on the back bumper. That 42, couple of car length separation between the top 2 drivers as we close in on the halfway point of tonight's pure stock main event. Yeah, going to be Safell trying to fend off the efforts of Fowles, still looking for that second win. And 8 laps in the books as the cross flags come out. Semi-late drivers for your main event. You can make your way to the staging area. Semi-late drivers for your main event to the staging area, please. Great battle for the number 1 spot. Fowles sticks it down low and crosses right up in front of the 42 of Safell. And it will be enough to give Evan Fowles that lead. Safell's got the inside line as they work it back into turn number 1. Fowles to that middle to high groove. Going to be Safell trying to use some low side momentum, but right now Evan Fowles has got it wound up. Safell still not letting him out of his sights. Reed remains in 3rd. Yonker a couple of car lengths back in 4th, and William Ecton Jr. the top 5. Field coming back for 5 laps to go, and Fowles by a car length over Safell. Spinner in turn number 2. Looks to be the 32 of Tyler Fisher. Whips it around right in front of the leaders as a caution makes its way out here with 5 circuits to go. Once again, semi-late drivers for your main event to the staging area. Semi-late drivers for your main event to the staging area, please. Field stacking up 5 laps to go here in tonight's 5th pure stock main event of the season. And Evan Fowles bringing it back off at turn number 4. Single file this time as they work their way back into 1 and 2, and Safel holding on for dear life, and that cost Keith Reed dearly. Nathaniel Yonker benefited 2 spots, and the 31 now goes up into second. And Safel says not so quickly. He dive bombs down to the bottom side of turn number 3, and Andrew Safel trying to reassume that number 2 spot. You can see the damage under that right side, and the damage he had with Keith Reed off of that second turn. All of this has allowed Evan Faust to check out down the back straightaway. After those 4 machines, Ecton Jr. in the 57, he's 5th, but here comes the 80 to Nick Fogel. He's charging hard, back in 6th, Spielman 7th, Thompson 8th, Ecton Sr. 9th, and Blake Reed rounding out the top 10 with 3 laps to go. Biggest battle right now is to maintain a top 5 spot, and William Ecton Jr. in the 57 still holds about a 3-car length edge over Nick Fogel. David Thompson in the 12, he's been on the charge. Got around Spielman moments ago as Faust comes back to the stripe to take the 2 to go sign. Safel has broken back away from Yonker now comfortably in 2nd spot. It's going to be Yonker 3rd, Keith Reed right on that rear bumper practically in 4th. Ecton 5th, Fogel 6th, and Thompson right now 7th with the white flag coming out this time by. And caution on the speedway once again. Looks to be the 8R of Blake Reed spinning off at turn number 4 with just a lap to go in tonight's main event. So not done yet as Evan Faust has to try it one more time, but Andrew Safel had got himself back and pulled away from Yonker and Reed and still had some distance to catch the 78, but let's see what 42 of Andrew Safel will be stacked up right behind him. 31 of Nathaniel Yonker, 8 of Keith Reed, 57 of William Ecton Jr. They'll be the top 5. Nick Fogel right behind him, James Spielman, William Ecton Sr., David Thompson, and the 64, William Cook. They are the remaining drivers. 1 lap dash to the finish tonight here for Pierce Knox. All right, green flag back out. Faust, 1 lap to go. Less than that as he works down the back straightaway. Safel damage and all right within a car length. Yonker, Reed, and William Ecton Jr. They are the top 5. Heading into turn 3 and 4. It's going to be Safel trying one final time. Not going to happen. And Evan Faust will check in for his 2nd Pierce Knox victory of the season. The 42 of Andrew Safel will come home 2nd. 31 of Nathaniel Yonker. The 8 of Keith Reed and the 57 of Bill Ecton Jr. They will be your top 5. He shuts the motor off, jumps out of the car, collecting his 2nd of the year. Evan Faust, your Pierce Knox feature winner tonight for the 2nd time in 2024 here at the Hagerstown Speedway. Starting back on the inside of row number 4. Had some tough performance he had to get around, and then some that he had to fend off. Well, the first one's always takes the longest. The second one didn't take as long. But along the way in between victory number 1 and 2, hadn't been the best weeks for you, but you found your way back.
Yeah, first thing I'm going to say, this is for Aaron and Bubba, baby. His brother's in the hospital right now, not doing good. This is for Bubba.
All right, for Bubba, thank you so much for that. Tell us about your race tonight. You had a little bit of a tough draw. You had to start on the inside of row number 4, so you had some tough competitors to get around, but then a lot of them back there. Keith Reed, Nathaniel Yonker, and of course Andrew Safel. They were all very tough.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had to start on the front row of that heat race with the 8 car on outside of us, and obviously I think everybody knows it's me and him running hard. And he about wadded me up all the way down there in the first turn, you know. I don't think I put a bumper to anybody the 2 years I've been racing here. I've raced everybody clean. When I let off for them, I make sure everybody goes home and gets to their family, and not everybody races like that around here. But we did it the right way tonight. Our car's fast. We're going to continue to be fast. We're going to race clean. We're going to race good, and we're going to have a good time.
Who would you like to thank?
My uncle, for sure. None of this would be possible without my uncle, my dad. Like I said, Aaron helped me all the time, my mom. My little nephew, Jace, man, right here. I mean, he's been getting the mud off the car all night. That's worth a couple tenths right there. So just everybody that helps out, man. There's a lot of really good people back there in them pits. The more you race, Andrew, all these guys, man, they just become more like family, and you look forward to seeing them every Saturday night, and that's what we keep on doing. We're just gonna show up, be who we are, be respectful, race clean, and have a lot of really good friends at the end of the night.
Well, Evan, I'm going to let this one step in too, because I've been waiting for this gentleman also to get his first victory. You were so close. Andrew Safel, step in here. You guys had a great battle tonight, and that's great camaraderie that there. Every week it seems like you're top of the board in warm-ups, you're looking good in the heat race, and I know tonight was so close. And I know it was like lap 3 when a caution came out, and it's early in the race, and it's like, yeah, you probably didn't want to see that one. Let them battle amongst themselves, but it just seems like it's getting closer and closer for you.
It is. It's coming soon.
What's it going to take?
I don't know, but we work on our cars. And it's just, I stay busy. I'm self-employed, and it's a lot to keep one of these things running, man, but we work on them. We're getting faster.
Well, we appreciate you being here, Andrew. Thank you so much tonight. And Evan, once again, congratulations. What else would you like to say?
Yeah, Andrew ran a hell of a race, man, and we've been friends and been back there hanging out. And I kind of, when I knew I was faster than him, I knew where I wanted to make my pass and wanted to make sure it was clean. And kind of felt bad, you know what I mean? One see, I felt so good, like getting that first win off my back felt so good. I want that same thing for Andrew, and the way he ran tonight, he's going to get that soon, man.
Well, like it happened for you, you're exactly right. It's going to happen for him. Congratulations. Enjoy this second one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Evan Faust for the second time this year in Victory Lane and Pure Stock competition.
All right, drivers, green flag this time around. Anytime after the stripe poles, 88Z, 15 laps.
All right, field stacked up 2x2, 15 laps for our finale tonight here at Hagerstown. Isaiah Miller and Bryan Kearns lead us to the green 2x2 as we head off into 1 and 2. Miller in his sophomore season grabbing that lead. Kearns in his second. Rob Nichols in third, side by side. McQuay and Kent down the back straightaway. Walter Crouch here as well. Dylan Wilson, the whole field pretty much fighting hard just outside the top 5. Miller will be your leader of lap number 1. It'll be the 83 of Kearns holding on his second, but Steve Kent's found something. He was side by side moments ago further back in the field. Now he was challenging for second, but he has to lift a little bit as he got to the back end of Kearns, and that opens the door for Rob Nichols in the number 7. 3-wide battle as they try it off at turn number 4. And now it goes 2x2 as Kearns finds Steve Kent to his outside. 88Z of Miller with about a quarter of a turn lead. Kent now goes into second spot. Kearns up the banking. Rob Nichols sees the bottom side. Tries to use that momentum and draw even down in turn 3 and 4. 92 of Walter Crouch rounding out the early top 5 here at lap number 3. And right behind them, you are going to have the 65 of Dylan Wilson, the 88K of Corey Seitz, 21 of Jason Stoner. Current points leader that is still fighting to work his way through the traffic and get up there. The 9 of Jason Wilkins not far behind him. Caution. And looks to be the 3D of Shane McQuay. And brings the yellow out high up in turn number 1. Which will be that dad's night out. Actually, they will be a little bit further down the line. They will also not be back until June the 22nd, likewise, on that Steel Block Clash weekend. So after this, a few weeks off of the simulates. Green flag back in the air as we begin to work lap number 4. Isaiah Miller didn't want to see that caution, but Steve Kent, the 1C, he has been wound up and doing very well, working that high group, and he'll grab the lead. Rob Nichols trying to get to the inside of Miller. Can't quite do it. Here comes Stoner and also the 65 of Dylan Wilson. It'll almost be a 3-wide battle in turn number 3 as Kent makes his way off of turn number 4. And back to the stripe. Lap number 4 is complete. Another driver off the pace. That's going to be the 38 machine being driven by Kevin Kuntz. He heads off into the pits as Kent leads. Going to be Miller in second, side by side for third. And caution is out on the speedway. And for debris as our track workers head there off of that second turn down the straightaway on the high side. So want to get that and make sure everything's good to go with 4 laps complete. Okay, now everybody's in their proper restarting spots as Steve Kent and Isaiah Miller lead us back to the green here in a moment. Well, Green back out, and Steve Kent has been on the attack, and now he's going to have people coming after him. He's got Dylan Wilson, the 65. He's in second spot now. 88 of Isaiah Miller in third. He's got attack from Rob Nichols on the high side. Jason Stoner right behind him as he come back to the stripe. Lap number 5. We're a third of the way through tonight's semi-late main event. Side by side for the lead here on lap number 6 as 65 Dylan Wilson starting on the inside of that 4th row finds himself a good run off that second turn and grabs the lead from Steve Kent. Miller and Nichols remain side by side in the battle for third. Stoner looking on at the 21 back to the number 5 position. 6th on the track right now going to be the 81 of Giesemann as he worked it back to the line. Sykes in the number 99, followed by Giesemann, then Deacon Schneider in the number 1 machine, Crouch in the 92, and the 03 of Neff. Lap number 8, and that makes halfway on the field in tonight's 15-lap main event as we begin the second half of our final semi-late race of the night. Still the 65 of Dylan Wilson as we got one limping off a turn number 4. That's going to be the 9 of Jason Wilkins. Number 2 point man heads off into the pit area. We stay green flag racing and coming back for lap number 9. Maybe Wilson underneath the 25 of Jeremy Mills off turn number 4. Again, Ken in second. Isaiah Miller and Jason Stoner now side by side for third. They come upon the lap machine of Jeremy Mills. Stoner has to do a slide job, and Miller spins it. And third spot got around the Mills machine and just spins it off turn 2. Now Cody Sykes and Jason Giesemann back in row number 3 as we get set for the green flag here in a second. Green is back out, and it's going to be Wilson reassuming the number 1 spot. Ken in second. Now it's going to be Rob Nichols trying to beat the sandwich on a 3-wide battle. Stoner down to the inside. Nichols in the middle. Kent on the high side. 3 wide. Who's going to give? As they work it through 3 and 4, Stoner comes out with the number 2 spot. Slides right in front of Steve Kent. How they avoided contact. Kent now right on the rear deck lid of the Stoner machine. He'll go top shelf. Going to be Stoner down to the bottom. Nichols back and forth. Here comes Seitz in the 88. He'll move to the inside and take over third. Nichols backs out and loses several spots down the back straightaway. 11 laps complete this time by in our main event, and all of this has allowed the 65 of Dylan Wilson to edge away that much more with just a handful of laps left to go here in tonight's semi-late main event. Stoner in the 21. He's second, some 10-15 car lengths back. Another 5 or 6 back to the 88. Or 99K of Cody Seitz, I should say. The 1C of Steve Kent holding on to 4th, and the 81 of Jason Giesemann. Right now the top 5. Lap number 12 this time by. Wilson keeping it down low through turn 1 and 2. Likewise for Stoner. Good lead as he'll be looking at the 2 to go indication this time by. Top 5 are secured. Deacon Schneider in the number 1. He's in a side-by-side battle with Nichols. That's back for the number 6 spot. Leaders come back, 2 to go here in tonight's semi-late main event. He'll work the lap car, Jeremy Mills down the back straightaway, and it should be Dylan Wilson with no problem getting around him as he enters into turn number 3 and 4. Stoner catches Mills in the corner, but he gives him plenty of racing room as the white flag comes out this time by. Third spot still to Seitz in the 99, the 1C of Steve Kent, the 81 of Giesemann. They're the top 5. Stoner's closed a little bit, but not nearly enough as Wilson works it down the back straightaway in the 65 machine, looking to become the 3rd different semi-late feature event winner in this young 2024 season. It will indeed be Dylan Wilson taking the checkered flags tonight in the 65. Stoner, the 21, comes home in second. Going to be Seitz in the 99 coming home 3rd, the 1C of Steve Kent, and the 81 of Jason Giesemann will be the top 5. Well, folks, as you head on out to get to your car, be sure to put your hands together for our feature winner tonight, Dylan Wilson, at 65, becoming our 3rd winner in semi-late competition in 3 tries. Jason Stoner and also Walter Crouch have found their way into victory lane. Very impressive run tonight for the driver of the 65 at Cassville, Pennsylvania, talking to some of his crew members and enjoying what will be a very special victory for this driver tonight here at the Hagerstown Speedway. Again, they'll be off for a couple of weekends. They'll be back on June 22nd with the semi-lates. But a very special night for Dylan Wilson as he gets ready to exit from the car. And there he is, folks. Give it up for Dylan Wilson, your semi-late winner tonight here at the Hagerstown Speedway. That will fix it tomorrow. Anything bent will fix it tomorrow. Dylan, that was a very, very impressive performance tonight. I know it's been long overdue for you as well. You've had a very strong car. The semi-late class is very stout, but what was the difference tonight?
Well, I mean, we struggled. For anyone that was here the first 2 races, we had a gremlin, and it was something so stupid that we completely overlooked it. And the off weeks actually did us some good. We tore it down, and man, we were ready to give up. We needed this one, and I got to thank the biggest person wherever he went. My dad, he is into this deal just as much as I am, and he put his nose to the grindstone with me, and we got it figured out. Bryan, he's there with us every night. Jim, he's going to kill me. He couldn't make it tonight, so he's going to shoot me. But just everybody that helps, everybody standing out here, my whole family's here. It's just, we really had to work for it. I mean, these guys are no joke.
Well, when you talk about working for it, we look at who's up front. Isaiah Miller, Shane McQuay, Rob Nichols, Brian Kearns, Walter Crouch, a one-time winner this year, Steve Kent, who gave you fits tonight. You didn't have any easy drivers to get around when this thing started.
No. I seen that invert started me 7th. I seen who was in front of me. I was like, man, I don't know. And then that last restart, I looked up and I seen 21 in 3rd. I was like, oh, this ain't going to be easy.
What are you going to do to celebrate tonight?
Well, we're going to go home, wash the car, and drink some beer.
All right, a little beer drinking's got to come in there somehow. Who else would you like to thank tonight, Bill?
Bollinger Builders, Jim Bilger's Garage, JL, I can't read it. JL Logistics and Excavating. He's new. He just come on with us. Roosted Chassis, Seger Racing Engines, Ryan Seger. I can't thank him enough, from parts to the engine he builds us to any kind of support he can give us. He's always there, a phone call away. I got new sponsors this year. I can't remember them all.
That's okay.
Bun Trucking, Fairweather Farm Rescue, Wilson's Outdoor Power, Ray's Removal. He's new with us this year. Big thank you to him for jumping on. And just everybody down here. My whole family's here to support me. And when you're having bad weeks, having people that believe in you is really cool. And shout out to Wayne Hallbaker. I told him where I started tonight, and he said, if anybody can do it, you can, buddy. I have faith in you. So, Wayne, I owe you a beer if you're still here.
Well, you might have to owe him 2 or 3, but he might owe you some because that was a heck of a job picking through those drivers. Congratulations on that win, and enjoy your night.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Dylan Wilson, our third different semi-late winner in 2024.